Okay. Right. We're doing this again. So, this is the next of Caedrel's awesome interviews. This time with Chovy.
How's he feeling? It was a super long day. How's his energy?
초장기전이었는데 지금 좀 어떠신가요?
일단 초장기전을 했는데 그 와중에도 집중력을 잃지 않고 계속 게임에서 그게 좀 마음에 드는 부분인 것 같아요.
It was a long day,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty satisfied with the fact that I was able to focus up the entire series and
Yeah.
managed to pull up a great place.
This is Twitch chat. They're all saying W Chovy, which means like good job. They have like emotes. This is like the hi. This is like wow Chovy, you know. So everyone's saying hello.
I love that this is a thing, by the way.
I saw you had an AMA and you
It's so
said
cool.
that sometimes you sleep 4 hours. Is that true? Like, do you like just sleep 4 or 5 hours and then just play, sleep 4 or 5 hours? Is that exhausting?
초비 선수 AMA 한 걸 어디서 봤는데 어떨 때는 4시간만 자고 연습하고 훈련하고 경기 치른다고 하셨어요. 사실인가요? 그럼 4시간만 자고 다시 연습하고 뭐 이런 스케줄로 지내시는지?
매번 그렇지는 않고 이제 좀 뒤죽박죽 한 수밖에 없는 환경인데 한 10일에 한 번 꼴로 그런 경우가 나올 때가 있습니다.
I mean, it doesn't happen every day,
Yeah.
you know, but you know, my lifestyle,
Yeah.
it just happened to have a very mixed sleep schedule. So
Yeah.
sometimes I would say once in 10 days I sleep 4 hours.
Really? How's your English? How's his English? Does he understand what I'm saying?
영어 실력 어느 정도인지?
I wouldn't recommend that, by the way, sleeping even once every 10 days. There are actually people who can survive on a lot less sleep than others, but
궁금하다고 어느 정도 알아들으세요? 말씀하시는 거예요?
I think the way Matt Walker says it is that
제가
rounded to a
원시력을
percentage, that's 0% of the
해외
population.
다니면서
So
어느
very
정도
few people.
이제 그냥 어떤 단어가 들리면 그냥 문맥상 뭐 이런 대화겠구나 하는 눈치로 알아듣습니다.
But they also have like the
I
multiple
would
sleep
say
hours,
it's
right,
not
in
that
Korea
good,
now.
but
Yeah.
because of my international event experiences, I'm able to catch one of two like words, and then I kind of understand the context. So like, this is gonna be about like this question.
Yeah. I saw you in game 1 in draft on the camera. I saw you were yawning a little bit. Were you like tired warming up into the series? And do you like take caffeine or anything during the series?
1세트 뱀픽할 때 엄청 시원하게 하품하는 모습이 잡혔거든요. 그때 좀 이제 좀 잠 깨면서 경기를 좀 집중하려고 하셨던 건지 혹시 경기 날 뭐 카페인이나 커피 이런 거 섭취하면서 하는 본인만의 루틴 같은 게 있을까요?
일단 경기 시작 30분 전에 몬스터를 가볍게 마시고 그리고 저는 이제 개인적으로 경기하기 전에 하품을 하면 그날 컨디션이 좀 좋더라고요. 그래서 좀 오늘 컨디션 괜찮다라는 생각이 들었습니다.
30 minutes before the game, I have a sip of Monster.
Yeah.
And then actually, if I yawn before a game, that means I'm gonna have a good game.
Okay.
So I felt kinda good when I was yawning today.
Yeah, okay, I'll keep an eye out for that.
Okay, it's a good sign.
Speaking of like exhaustion, just on the topic quickly, your schedule is crazy. Like, how do you relax? Like, is your best way of relaxing like just going outside? Is it just running around in solo queue? Is it just watching films? Like, how do you just have the day off? Like, what do you do?
정말 빡빡한 일정으로 지내시잖아요. 어떻게
These are all like really
패션을
interesting questions,
즐기면
but they're less like on the like
한다든지 뭐
performance and
게임을
coaching
한다든지
stuff as
영화를
the Tabe one.
본다든지.
일단 빡빡한 스케줄인데
So
한국에
maybe have
있을
less
때는
to say is
그래도
what I'm
괜찮은데
getting at.
이제 이번 MS에 와서는 좀 운동을 하면서 생체 리듬을 찾기도 했고 좀 피곤함이 많이 쌓여 있다 보니까 아무래도 솔로 랭크를 좀 줄이면서 솔직히 최근에 솔로 랭크가 그렇게 크게 중요하다고 생각하지는 않아서 솔로 랭크를 좀 줄이면서 컨디션 관리에 신경을 쓰고 있는 편이에요.
Well, I mean, in Korea, I would do some of those activities to kind of relax. But right now, when I was here, I started hitting the gym actually.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought it was pretty good, you know, getting the good and then recently, because I was so exhausted, I kind of decided not to play too many solo queues because I also kind of realized that playing a lot of solo queue doesn't really mean much to me at this point. So I started to play a little less solo queue and then trying to.
I mean, it's really interesting, right? I saw a thing that Rob tweeted. If let me find it. I think Gen G have the lowest elo of anyone at MSI. So let me just bring this up. So he's talking about the Tabe one, which obviously went mega viral because he was talking about how much they play. Like 2 blocks is too little. Gen G, best team at the tournament for sure. Lowest average LP. So lowest solo queue games since coming. Not saying one is better than the other, But if you just listen to one of these interviews and you're like, oh, these are the best people in the world, so therefore we have to work really hard, or therefore solo queue doesn't matter. Like, depends on who you listen to.
Get more of like me time.
The best player
Is
in the
any
coach, or maybe
solo
the
queue
best
terrible?
구미 솔랭 별론가요?
best player in the world,
getting
or maybe
into-
the best coach in the
사람들이
world. Like, who
프로라나요?
do you listen to? They both say the
그건
opposite.
아니고요. 아무래도 최상위권에 가려면 이제 받는 계정이 최상위권은 아니다 보니까 저희가 많이 해야 되는데 많이 하면은 이제 시간적으로 썼을 때 좀 컨디션 관리가 어렵기도 하고 그리고 또 아무래도 좀 확실히 제가 생각하는 구도와 다른 구도가 나오다 보니까 근데 이거는 이 북미 서버만 해당되는 게 아니라 한국에서도 많이 느꼈던
그냥
거라서
부관 때문에. 아니야 솔랭 자체가
예 솔랭 자체가 그래서
그런 It's not about NA solo queue. I
Yeah.
didn't mean that way. It's just the accounts that we receive. You know, it's not the top ELO accounts, so you
Yeah.
have to grind a lot.
Yeah, that is
more,
really
Like the
you know,
stupid.
normal games, yeah.
You
Yeah,
get like
and
good
then that
MMR, but
means
you
I have
don't
to
get
put
like
so much
challenger
time
straight
to
away.
reach that kind of ELO.
Mm.
Then I would not be able to my best condition, best form because I have to, stay up all night playing solo queue. And a lot of solo queue games recently, something I noticed is it doesn't really go based on the matchup understandings that I have. It's just not about NA solo queue.
random.
It's not about the ELO. It's just everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere he plays solo queue, it just doesn't go as he expects.
Oh, I see. One question I had was like, obviously it's a long series, like 5 games. In between games, how much of that in between games is draft talk? Like how much do you
Oh, I
sit
love
there and
this
just
question.
talk draft? Is it
'Cause we
straight
haven't
away
heard
or
this
is
since
there small
Fearless.
game pointers after the game?
오늘도 옥과까지 가면서
This is
네
a
번의
perfect
피드백
question.
시간이 있었잖아요.
'Cause
그럼
I
그
don't know how
피드백하는
to do this.
타임에 몇 퍼센트 정도가 뱀핑 얘기인
And this
거예요.
is why the
바로
Tabe
그냥
answer
시작하자마자 뱀핑 얘기로
was so
들어가는지
interesting.
아니면 뱀핑 얘기도 하고 뭐 인게임 얘기도 하고.
저는 이제
Like, if it's
다전제를
just your
많이
coach,
해보면서 느낀 게 다전제에서
that's really cool.
게임 피드백을
So it'd be
하는
really
게
interesting to
큰
see what he
의미가
says.
없다고 생각을 해서 중요한 부분만 짧게 짚고 오늘 게임의 전체적인 컨셉과 우리가 뭐 좀 위축되어 있으면 위축되어 있다 이런 말을 하고 분위기 한번 환기한 다음에 뱀핑 얘기를 들어가는 것 같아요.
Based on my previous, internationals events experience, which I have quite a lot right
Mm.
now, I kind of realized going back to your in-game play doesn't really help
Yeah,
you a lot.
move
So we try to move on. Exactly. We just try
Okay.
to focus on our kind of mental state. If we are like feeling small, our coaches try to refresh ourselves and make us feel a lot more confident, and then we move on to the draft talk.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is really, really good advice, but also do bear in mind if you're listening to this team has been together for a long time, and the core of it has been together for, well, with Canyon, I guess not all that much time, but still way more time than most teams have been together in Europe, let alone in ERLs. So there are some things that, for example, Nord will do. We've been together for like months, or, each split is new. So by the time we get to finals, there might well be some little silly things that we're just forgetting that are worth talking about. So again, I think like I said, I absolutely love having these questions, but you also do need to think about, okay, this is for them, and what's the best thing to do for me, and what's the reasoning for what they're doing, and therefore do I agree with the reasoning? But here, I really like it. Like if you're really comfortable with the team, if you're really high level players, you've got a lot of experience, like, as a coach, you don't need to be telling them, oh, we need to play more aggressively around side lanes, guys, or something like that. Like you just keep it simple, keep it more about their mental state, and then go into draft. Exactly what you're saying. I love that.
I had a question about game 3. You might not remember, but I'll remind you, like you had Galio, Cassante, Pantheon, and you had Senna, and T1 picked MF on 4. And I looked at the game, and nothing happens for 30 minutes, and then you just win. Were you worried a bit about them like outscaling you with damage, or did you think that your comp, even with so many tanks, will be fine in like the late game?
이제 3세트
Still in
얘기를
like
좀
the
해보고
MF.
싶은데 그때 탱커 정말 많이 갈리오, 크산테, 판테온 나왔고 이제 상대는 4픽으로 세나가 나왔어요. 그럼 이제 한 30분 가까이 특별한 액션 같은 게 나오지 않고 경기가 무난히 흘러갔거든요. 이렇게 됐을 때 상대방이 우리보다 좀 왕비를 잘하겠다 이런 부분에서 오는 걱정은 없었나요?
3세트 때
탱커 조합.
저희가 세나 아니었나요? 상대가 미스포춘.
미포 상대가 미포죠.
예.
세나가 젠지했었고 미포를 뽑았는데 30분 넘게 아무 일도 일어나지 않아서 이제 상대가 우리보다 조금 후반 도모를 잘할 수 있어서 좀 문제가 되지 않.
보다 초반 교전 확신이 있었습니다.
Well, I mean, Senna is the late game insurance we had, so we were never worried about opponents outscaling us. And for sure, maybe like
It's because they got Senna and no threat on
Sante
Senna.
or the champions that are.
Like T1 didn't have any threat of really actually killing Senna, and so that's why I think that's why I was saying while watching it that like. For me personally, if you can find something that does a lot more damage than the MF, I would much prefer it. Like even like Smolder or something. I can't remember what the rest of the draft was, but something that has a lot more threat on the front line. or Jinx or Aphelios or whatever, because you're not going to be able to dive on the enemy backline when they've already got those 3 massive tanks, and they're probably going to have another tank in support. And so you're going to have to outmatch and get through frontline
really
quicker.
good in the early game.
So the
fight
Senate pick, I think,
doesn't
was
mean
really, really
they're
good.
Scaling back.
Can't remember
so
the bans
I was
as
pretty
well.
confident of about our comp, and the moment we finished drafting, the thing we said was, as long as we can avoid any early game accident, we're good.
Interesting. Okay. What's the most like annoying or like difficult thing about playing against T1? Because you've played against them so many times. What's the one thing that's
love
always
that
like
question.
the hardest to deal with?
T1은 수업
는
Please, that's sneaky. They're sneaky.
부탁한이라든가
They're sneaky.
바론이라던가 그런 오버레이트를
T1 is
몰래
sneaky.
치는 게 가장
That is the
신경 쓰이는
perfect
Sneaky, huh?
description.
Exactly that's sneaky. They're sneaky objective tribes, you know, especially Otacons and Barons. They just started off very sneakily.
Yeah.
That's the annoying part.
I saw in some of the games you were going to like Dragon Soul, and then T1 is going Baron with Azir, and you're all, oh, Baron, 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 and everyone's running to Baron to stop it, so I could see that. T1, do they make finals, you think?
T1이 결승에 갈 것 같다고 생각하시나요?
사실 이거는 되게 어려운 질문인 것 같습니다. T1뿐만 아니더라도 AL도
Looks so strong.
위협적인 팀이라고 생각을 해서 일단 그 두 팀이 가장 경기되는 것 같습니다.
It's a very difficult question because not only T1 but also AL looks so strong and scary. So I think I'm watching out for both of them. They're are looking very strong.
I have one last question because
Very diplomatic answer.
Do you have any advice for Europe? Because now I ask everyone this question. We're the worst.
Please
G2
help us,
employ, we're
Jovi.
the first
Jovi
teams
and
knocked
Tabe.
out. Do you have any advice for our
Please
players
help
or our
us.
teams or our drafts or our gameplay? Anything you saw in scrims or gameplay that we're just bad at?
유럽이라든지 보면
확실히 가장 중요한 것 같아요. 어느 팀이
to them is I mean we played against them in scrims and competitively, and I do believe that they have the potential.
Okay.
But one advice I can give to them is I think drafting is so important right now.
Yeah.
Pick and bans. I think it's just advice to every other regions. You know, drafting is important.
Draft
Everyone.
better. Okay, more draft prep. Thanks so much, Chovy. The chat's coming, Chovy. Thanks for coming. I really
Again,
appreciate it. And
I
good
think it's
luck
so
in the finals.
awesome.
Good luck.
Thank
That
you.
Mark does these.
Chat,
I think
that
that's
was
so
it.
cool.
I'll take your mics and headsets and I can.
I love his last question. He needs to keep asking that. We need all the help we can get. I've got thoughts as well, but already just getting good advice from people who know better. Right, so that's my thoughts on the Chovy interview. I'll try and not see the interviewee if I can. Problem is I watch so much Caedrel stuff that it's always recommended to me. I'm scouting, obviously. It was scouting for NLC. Anyway, that's it for today. So tomorrow we've got scrims. We'll do an MSI watch party as well. Not exactly sure when, maybe in the early afternoon. But if you're on the Discord or obviously following on Twitch or something, you'll see it. But if not, I will see you at scrims, which is tomorrow evening at 5:45, I think. Oh, I can't spell cal for calendar. Yeah, 5:45 scrims tomorrow. Maybe something tomorrow in terms of MSI.